In yesterday's Cyberpunk 2077 video, I went over each starting life path you could pick in Cyberpunk and how exactly each one affected the gameplay. The other choice you'll have to make right at the start of the game after you've made your character is to assign your attributes between body, intelligence, reflexes, technical ability, and cool. Each one of these stats starts at 3 points. 3 points is the minimum attribute level you can have, but you're given another 7 attribute points to spend on these other attributes. Now before I give my advice on what the best choices might be, let's go over each one of these options and their effects on the gameplay. Starting out with body, which improves your health and your maximum stamina pool. It also increases your melee damage across the board, so one-handed, two-handed, and you're unarmed, how much damage you're actually going to do each time you hit someone with a melee attack. Now also the level of your attributes in Cyberpunk, for example if you have a high body skill level, it's going to allow you to access unique perks, like one of the best body perks is Street Brawler, where every time you kill an enemy your crit chance is increased by another 60% for 10 seconds, which is obviously just insanely powerful. You can also break down doors, even rip place turrets off and carry them around to shoot people, and your body attribute level reduces the bullet spray with certain weapon types that are considered heavy, and it can allow you to pick up and carry other people and use them as meat shields. Next we have Reflex. This attribute governs your proficiency with guns, handguns and rifles, and even your attack speed with melee weapons. It also increases your critical hit chance, which is obviously how you get huge damage numbers, and even how good you are at evading enemies' attacks or dodging. So don't rule out dexterity if you're going for melee, because obviously increasing your attack speed and critical hit chance is really important still. If you guys are interested in starter character builds, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell icon, because you can expect a lot of starter guides from me on day one of launch to help you out in your own playthroughs. In fact, that is literally what this channel is all about: unique weapons, armor, character builds, and so on. That's what I do for a living. But next we have Intelligence. This affects your ability at hacking by reducing the difficulty levels, and it also shortens program upload durations as well. We also have Technical, which grants you armor and increases your chance of harvesting, crafting materials from loot, and how good you are at actually improving weapons. People with a higher technical skill will also be able to implement more cyber upgrades in and out of battle. Lastly though, we have our Cool stat. This affects how good you are at sneaking up behind enemies and taking them out stealthily without a sound. Specifically the speed at which enemies will notice you. Basically if you're standing right in front of them, you'll have like a few seconds to kind of move out of their line of sight or even dash in front of them unnoticed and so on. The stealth system in Cyberpunk is pretty basic, so there are many ways you can really take advantage of this, kind of like, you know, if you're playing Skyrim or Fallout and you have like a maxed out stealth character, the game becomes quite easy just because the AI doesn't really understand how to deal with you that well. But your cool stat also affects how much damage you'll be doing with your assassination abilities, and also how much damage your critical hits actually do in total. So dexterity and cool together will mean that you crit more often, and the damage you do with those crit attacks will be even higher. So both of those things used in tangent are actually very useful. The cool stat will also improve your effects resistance, so against fire, poison damage and so on. It also affects your nerve in sweaty situations. You'll actually get dialogue options that may save your neck. The same goes for other attributes. There are going to be many situations in the game where your attribute level or proficiency in like engineering or strength will allow you to intimidate people, challenge them, or just gain more of an understanding or even solve a problem that otherwise wouldn't be solvable if you didn't have such a high attribute level in that area. Now, the way Cyberpunk 2077 works is, while you can be a jack of all trades, you'll be the master of none. So I actually recommend specializing your character's build. For example, you can play through the entire game without killing anyone, and to do this I'd recommend having a high intelligence and cool skill to help you massively in allowing you to sneak around and hack your way and talk your way through the entire game. All of these playstyles are viable, and I really suggest you take a look at each one of your attributes and just pick how you want to play the game and then define your character through that method. Next though, let's talk about leveling up your character and how progression actually works in Cyberpunk 2077. You see, to level up your character, you'll be getting a chunk of experience from quests and killing and hacking and performing other in-game actions, just like if you've played The Witcher 3, very similar sort of setup. Each time you level up, you get more perks and more attribute points you can spend. I'll talk a little bit more about perk points in a moment and some of the best perks in the game, but essentially perks give you like another way to really define and build your character in and out of combat. But now let's talk about skills, because each time you kill somebody with a handgun, you'll get experience with the gunslinger skill, for example. Same when you hack something, you'll get more hacking skill, and when you try and sneak around more, you'll get more sneaking skill. So, basically, the more you use a skill, the better you get with it. Just like in Skyrim and Fallout, it works the exact same way. However, remember that your attributes also affect the efficiency you have with those skills. So say for example you find yourself doing a lot of sneaking, but you have a very low cool stat. Your sneak skill will still increase and you'll still get better at sneaking, but you'll never be as good as somebody who has a combination of a high cool stat and sneaking as well, and then also get access to the cool perks to go with that skill too. So do bear that in mind when you're building your character, and then you can plan to pick attributes based on how you plan to play the game. There's also something called street cred. Now basically you get street cred every time you finish bounties or any kind of side quest. What street cred does is it unlocks access to new vendors who will sell you better weapons, armor and upgrades. And it's basically like a game design feature that tries to make you so you cannot actually have like the best gun in the game at a really early level and just, stomp through the entire thing and one-hit kill everybody. This has been an issue in other games like Skyrim, where I made a guide on how to get the best armor and weapons at level 1. And while you can do that, it completely ruins the gameplay and makes it super easy to play. So street cred basically stops this from being an issue and means that you kind of have to like level up your character's street credibility before you can get access to those really powerful weapons and gear. Now I'm sure there will be other ways through crafting and things like that we can kind of manipulate this, but that is why it exists. Okay, now let's talk about perks. Each of the main 5 attributes in Cyberpunk, body, dexterity, reflex, intelligence, and engineering, now split off into a further 12 specializations, which are all of the skills in the game. Pistols, rifles, blades, shotguns, two-handed, hacking, assassinations, cold blood, which is like the stealth skill, sniper rifles, engineering, melee, which also includes unarmed, and also athletics. So those are the total 12 skills in the game, and they're also the 12 perk categories. Each one of these perk categories have another 20 perks that you can pick for each of the skills. And these range from a reflex handgun perk that gives you an armor boost for 20 seconds each time you land a critical hit, or even a tech engineering perk that increases tech weapon damage by 25%, which is obviously huge. And then one of the best stealth perks in the game is Cold Blood, which when active increases your crit chance by 10% and your crit damage by 2%. So as you'd expect, there's a lot here to combine into the ultimate character build that will suit your playstyle. But it doesn't stop there. Lastly, we have cyber mods. As you play the game, you can buy various cyber enhancements that will help your character build. These range from anything from mantis arm blades, huge swords that come out of your arms, or target enhancements to help you aim in a firefight, or even slowing down time and non-combat things that let you hack faster and easier. Overall, there's so many things that are going to be going into the different character builds of Cyberpunk 2077 that allow you to develop and specialize in your own playstyle and really add to the replay value of the game. Now personally, I'm very interested in going for a handgun critical build that moves about really quickly and is a type of gun and run playstyle. So when my walkthrough of Cyberpunk releases, that's what you're going to see me playing. But I'm going to be making multiple starting builds and endgame builds for Cyberpunk. So if you guys are interested in following along with that and my walkthrough, make sure you subscribe and press that bell icon, because then YouTube will let you know when those videos come out. And also, if you found this video helpful or insightful at all, I'd appreciate it if you left a like. And also, I'm genuinely interested. Let me know what your planned build or gameplay style is going to be in the comment section as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do hope you found this guide helpful. Have a great day and goodbye.